Hello, all, and a very warm afternoon. We are so glad to have you with us as we begin yet another engaging session on connecting the dots. First and foremost, we extend our gratitude to our esteemed speakers for their participation in this panel discussion. Dr. Brilliant SK, EVP and Chief People Officer at Times Pro, Sandeep Kumar, Head HR Operations India at Sodexo India Services Private Limited. Harini Krishnan, Global Lead at 24/7 AI India. A warm welcome to all. Gen Z is often defined by trends, digitally fluency, social activism, and a desire for purpose. But to truly understand them, we need more than surface level insights. This generation is shaped by larger forces, economic instability, climate concerns, and rapid tech evolution. This isn't just about what Gen Z is doing, it's about why and what it means for all of us. HRA welcomes you all to the session on this insightful topic, Gen Z in context, insights without losing the big picture. To know more about HRA and its events, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. I now take the privilege of introducing our moderator for the session, Khushbu Bhausar, Director HR at Measure One India. Khushbu Bhausar is a strategic HR leader with 18 years of experience driving business growth, scalability, and organizational transformation. As Director of Human Resource at Measure One India, a SaaS-based IT product engineering company, she has played a key role in aligning people strategy with business objectives, scaling operations, and enhancing engagement. A certified expert in NLP, psychometric assessment, and change management, she holds a management degree from Nirma University. Recognized as People Manager of the Year by HRA in 2023 and BW People HR 50 Under 50 Awards in association with Business World Publications. She is committed to building high performance cultures and positioning HR as a key business driver. To know more about Khushbu, you can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Without wasting much time, I hand over the platform to Khushbu. Over to you. Khushbu, I think she's having some issue with her laptop.
I think she got dropped off. I have readmitted her.
Okay.
Khushbu is come back.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Khushbu.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, finally. I apologize. It seems like I'm facing some technical issue. Yeah. And yeah, thank you so much for welcoming. And I'm glad that finally we are able to connect with all of you. So without wasting more time, I'll get started. Let's get deep dive into the topic. So I'm Kushbu Bhavsar. I'm delighted to welcome all of you in today's conversation. Gen Z in context, insight without losing the bigger picture. I'm glad that say Faisal has already introduced. Will not take much time on that. Globally, Gen Z is a topic of conversation, especially with the workplace and consumer behavior circle because of the cultural, economical, or a workplace maturity. Okay. Um, yeah, sorry, I think I was not on a video. So, someone like me, who has worked across the generational shift over like past 2 decades from Gen X to Gen Z, and now we are also approaching Alpha. If I have finished, say I have say worked on how generations bring some unique say characteristics to the workplace. That is a combination of a structure, accountability, technology, resilience, and purpose. All of that. So every generation had its own revolution, but today in this conversation, in this call, we want to understand as an industry leader, as a people champion, or a say workplace enabler. We want to understand how we build say the workplaces which actually works for all by understanding Gen Z in a bigger picture, right? So we want to understand how do they read value, they read culture, and how we want them to lead the future generations or the future workplaces. So let's dive deep with an open mind, shared learning, and focus on what really matters without putting anybody into a pedestal. And we all look forward to make a bigger and a better workplace for everybody. All right, we should get started. Uh, Coming back with the first question. Okay, I think we'll start
We
with a
can
big.
we'll get to the introductions of the speakers and then we can start with the questions.
All right,
Khushbu?
all right. I apologize. So yeah, I think we should introduce. We'll start with Dr. Brilliant. Over to you, Dr. Brilliant.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you've joined in. I'm Brilliant. I am Executive Vice President and Chief People Officer of Times Pro, a higher education technology company of the Times Group. I've been in multiple careers, started off as a teacher, went into software development, did some pre-sales, and now I am in human resources. Looking forward to this fantastic conversation. Thank you so much. Back to you, Khushbu.
Thank you,
May I
Dr.
go ahead?
Brilliant. Yeah, please go ahead. Glad
Yeah.
that we have Mr. Sandeep Kumar with us. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I am currently working with Sodexo as India HR Operation Head for the last 11 years. I've been with Sodexo in different roles. My current role is the one which we are talking about. Before this, I've spent 12 years with HCL Infosystems and initially one or two very short stints, but very good world leaders in their own respective industries. Uh, I'm very keen to be on this particular discussion panel because it's something which I always, really admire because for the last, people are talking about Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and for me, for the last 28 years, I'm in the professional career. Every generation is a Gen Z. So every generation brings in something new, and they have a very new perspective. So looking forward. Uh, Thank you very much for the invitation.
Great. Yeah, Harini.
Hi, everyone. Firstly, thank you, HRAI, for this opportunity. And so happy to be on panel with such senior industry leaders. Like you know, my name is Harini Krishnan. My pronouns are she and her. I lead the global people culture and DNI for 24/7 AI India. And with over an experience of 15 plus years, I've been into the HR, L&D, sales, and training roles. And happy to be here today and look forward to this discussion. Thank you, and back to you.
All right. Thank you, Faisal. So we'll get started with the question and answer. We'll have largely three areas which we want to cover. Because most of the say subtle items or smaller items is going to get covered when we are talking about the bigger picture. Okay, so over to you, Mr. Brilliant. I have a question that what cultural shifts we do see or you see on the ground. So how Gen Z's values are shifting the way we think about the culture, leadership, and structure at work. What is their perspective on the structure, value, or the leadership? What we are talking about?
While we are talking about Gen Z, yesterday my son, who's 13 years old, just walked up to me and said, "अच्छा ये Gen Alpha भी ना कुछ भी है." I looked at him thinking, "ये क्या बोल रहा है?" And he said that they created some weird language and I don't think it is needed. Right? So look at how life is changing. We are thinking about Gen Z and there's already Gen Z thinking and talking about
Hmm.
Gen Alpha. So it's
Hmm.
fast-paced world. And
Hmm.
you said it, right? we've seen people who started off their careers by saying PF hai kya, company अच्छी है. Then came a generation which said in hand क्या है, company में उससे फर्क पड़ेगा. And now कितना time free मिलेगा ताकि I can focus on ourselves. So if we look at it, the culture is moving from what has been so called, popularized by some of the influencers as hustle culture towards being a holistic, self-focused culture. So I think the grind that we all talk about will soon become a thing of the past. The focus is prioritization on mental health for sure. Balance, whether it is life, work social, there are so many parameters and domains that they operate in. It is very difficult for us to even think and conceptualize anything. But what's important for us to know is they want to understand the purpose and they drive their lives based on a purpose. So flexibility for them is non-negotiable. So as organization, remote or hybrid work, which we've been always talking about as a perk or a special flexibility, it will no longer be a flexibility. It will be an ask saying कि ये नहीं है तो नहीं होगा. As compared to what we used to say, "Arey wow, we get 5 annual leaves or 5 what we call as continuous leaves to be taken for breaks." They will say, "I need a sabbatical." It's not about free snacks, free foods, or those table tennis matches that they play at office. It's about saying, I am feeling stressed. Is there something I can do? Is the company willing to give me some solution where I can talk? Therapy is fine. Unlike people in our generation where we don't even want to get there. The moment anyone talks about counseling, therapy, we look the other way. The organizations will have to mold. And I think Sandeep said it right? There is a Gen Z in every cycle that happens. So we've seen that the phases change, but it's how the organization adapt themselves by focusing on purpose rather than thinking about just saying, मैंने पैसा दे दिया, productivity मिलनी चाहिए, that's it. But unless we focus on the purpose and create a balance through well-being as the key, that is when things will change. In terms of structures, I believe no longer the tall hierarchies will work. Today, it's all about a network work, right? So, for example, if I believe that I can work with Harini for a project, I'll approach if she is available, we can work together. End of story. Nothing lost, nothing gained, but we worked together, we collaborated. It's all about focusing on that. So, organizations will need to start creating a culture where project based collabs should be encouraged. No, I have heard this multiple times in my journey as a professional growing up. People would say, one of the bosses I heard him say to my new manager is, यार काम तो अच्छा करता है लेकिन 6 बजे चला जाता है. The focus on visibility was, wait, why? That will not work. You think about outcomes, that's it. So I think bring in transparency, have continuous conversation, be flexible. Don't worry about whether it's a matrix organization or a straight line organization. It should be network based, outcome based collabs. Project based working is what will work. Gen Zs may or may not demand, but organizations should focus on quality of work and quality of life so that they get a quality product or a service or anything that they are giving. So I think that's the best way to look at it. Instead of saying that it's an ask for the Gen Z, it's what we would call as adaptation to a newer way of working. Over to you.
Very rightly said. I totally agree, and what you are saying is definitely make total sense. Wherein they are not seeking for, like, what we are considering as a, say, perks or anything like that. They are looking at the. I mean, they are, say, looking at the transparency, inclusion, all of that. Not just that, they also want like alignment. It's not like this was being said and you just do it like that, but yeah, they look forward for the, say, bigger, the sense of what they really feel. Great. So that's wonderful. I think, moving ahead to the next question, which is there for Miss Harini. So we have seen the era of, say, say, ping pong tables or a bean bag or a fancy workplaces, which used to attract, say, a lot of folks. Okay. Yeah, while does these, so what is your point of view on, does this younger team still value, or they are looking for a deeper cultural alignment or the purpose, or what really matters for them? What really matters for them as on today? What's your point of view? Please do share with all of us.
Sure, thank you, Khushbu. But I just want to, build on Dr. Brilliant's point, right? Because I think it's logically transitioning to the question that you asked me. In terms of the structure and all of that, Gen Zs today, they don't want to be managers at all. In fact, I was just reading a recent Korn Ferry report which said that there is a particular term which has come up, which is called conscious unbossing. Okay, which means that they don't want to be bosses, they don't want to be in the management responsibilities because they've seen their managers who are completely exhausted all the time, overwhelmed. Sometimes they're even made redundant due to the growing business needs. And then now they are asking that, is it really worth all this, right? I'm not saying that they are stepping outside of ambition. They do have ambitions. All that they're saying is that this model of leadership doesn't inspire them anymore. Right. So what they're pretty much looking like is like Brilliant was saying, right? That, they're looking for purpose, they're looking for empathy, they're looking for inclusion, they're looking for flexibility, again, a non-negotiable, and then authentic connection. That's what they're really looking for right now. And then all these ping pong tables and bright chairs and cafeteria food, that doesn't excite them anymore because see, they're in a world where they are already privileged, they have access to everything, so these things don't excite them anymore. I remember back in the day, I mean, not too far along, I think about 5 years ago, when I was in recruiting and hiring, there was one candidate that I spoke to, and the question that he asked me was not about what's going to be my total CTC, what's my take home, or what are the benefits the company is offering. He asked me, what is the carbon footprint of your company? And I didn't have an answer. That's where Gen Z are going. And like he was saying, I also have a 13-year-old. The conversations that they have with us is totally different. They cannot associate an idea of a workplace. He looks at me working for say 10 or 12 hours and he says, Mama, no way I'm going to be sitting in front of that laptop ever. In fact, HRAI had hosted a panel, I think about last month, where we spoke about, the traditional employment and gig economy. And we actually discussed about, how that's going to be the future of work. So like Brilliant said, that organizations have to adapt themselves to be able to deal with this workforce. So you look at the quality of work than just saying that, confining them to a certain framework or a management style which may not fit with them. And also, they are very clear in what they want, right? They say that I'm going to do productive work for 3 hours. In the other 3 hours, I'm going to listen to music or play music or write a book of my own. Or, just give me the flexibility. I can work out from the Himalayas. Don't ask me where I am. Right. So all of these things are definitely changing. And I think as generations come by, we are going to be in for more surprises. The better we are at adapting ourselves and being flexible and being more inclusive, I think it will be good for all of us. Yeah, that's what I think.
Great, great. Those are very valuable insights, and thank you for providing. What we hear is like, what they really bring is a clarity for sure. What they really bring is the purpose, more, say, structure. Besides structure, more of their, their own pace and their own space to think and execute. Number two. Uh, so, when we are talking about the, moving ahead, and when we are say taking this to the next level, what should we expect as Gen Z step into a leadership? How does that leadership culture look like, what we have seen so far? And if suppose we as in say industry enabler or a workplace enabler have to think about say preparing them for the real responsibility. Bigger question is, do we really need to prepare them, or are they ready, or how do we prepare them? What is needed to develop them, not just a leader but a steward of culture as well? So yeah, if suppose I would like to have a perspective from Mr. Sandeep. If suppose you can have a future readiness of the leadership of Gen Zs?
Yeah, let me come from a very different context, because
Hmm.
when we are talking about it, we are talking majorly from the perspective that everybody comes to an office to work. Okay. But if you look at the Generation G, which we are talking about, they're also going to factories, they're also going to mines, they're also going to sales guys are going in the field. So there are all types of people, and we are only talking about so far as if everybody is coming under one roof to work and they have a workplace. We need to understand that India particularly, I am not going to the global scenario at this point of time, but in a country like India or India, there are two types of countries. There is one Bharat and there is one India, right? So the Bharat of Gen Z of Bharat and Gen Z of India itself differs. The Gen Z of India is very entitled. They come with a notion that whatever is there, I'm entitled for this. If you are giving a very fancy looking office, that is their entitlement. It's not that they have earned it. You go to any tier 3, tier 4 city office of a large multinational or large Indian conglomerate, you can see the difference. What the office is there in Gurgaon may not be there in, say, Varanasi. They will have a very small office, a small sales office, a very workable office where you come touch, it's like a touch point and all. But what I am very happy to see that in most of the factories, which used to look like a place where only manufacturing is happening, there also the workplace is changing. The layout, the color scheme, everything is changing. And so you can see the impact there also, because there also people from IITs or NITs are going in the production line. Even people who are coming from diploma engineering colleges. So they also have expectations. So that is one. Number two, as far as internet accessibility is concerned, now at least for a country like India, it is there everywhere. Now, why I'm talking about this is when you're talking about what we should do. I don't know how many of the audience is belonging to the Gen Z, but many of them want to come to the leadership role very fast. Like we had this notion that till the time you will have 10, 15 years of experience, you cannot become a department head and all. Now they don't think like that. They are not looking at the number of years of experience. They are looking at, okay, what does it require me to reach to that leadership role? And I will give you some examples. I am personally going through some international coaching federation training, I'm preparing myself for PCC. And some of my course mates who are also getting trained, they are students. So I thought all this while that till the time I have some gray hair and I have some sizable years of experience, I cannot be a coach or I cannot be a leader who also coaches. But they are not thinking like that. They are saying what is wrong. Even by the time I am 30 or 25 or 26, I can also coach and I can also lead a team. So that's the way they are looking. So earlier team lead means the lowest unit of a manager with some 5, 6 people. Now they want to, and those people were never bothered. If I was a team leader, say 20 years back, I never thought that, okay, I should use coaching as a leadership style. But they are thinking, why can't I do use coaching as a leadership style at the age of 25? So, and all this is coming because they need that entitlement, which is hygiene factor. They know that has to come. What they want to earn are these seats. They want to be in the leadership seats. For that, they will make the effort because that is their purpose. They want to fast forward everything. And we need to understand that, yeah, that are we creating systems which will help them to do this, or are we still going in the same manner? Another example I'll give you of leadership demonstration, which a Gen Z looks for. All the offices which used to have cabins, because you wanted to tell that I want to have something confidential, that's why I should have a cabin. I am a senior officer. So whatever I'll talk will be very confidential. That's why I should have my own space. Now today, you look at because we are in the workplace management of most of the companies. I know for sure most of the companies have come out of this cabin culture. Even the business head, maybe the only privilege he's getting his cubicle in a corner, right? But he's not getting a cabin. He can afford to get a cabin, but what message he is giving to Gen Z that we are getting transparent. We are working in an open environment. Anybody can walk in anytime. I can walk up to your seat, you can walk up to my seat, right? So while we are inviting this openness, there is another thing which we need to be very clear about this particular generation is everybody wants to have his own private space. So the the colleague sitting next to you, whether you want to be a friend with him or her or not, is decided by the person who wants to be the friend. Earlier, it was taken for granted कि अगल बगल में बैठा है तो दोस्ती कैसे नहीं होगी. Now he wants to have it. Maybe he has no office, no friend in the office. In the same building, where are some 5 other offices are there. His friends are in the other office, other company. His friends are not there in this company, and that you have to accept because they have defined their own virtual boundary, which they I mean, with very selective nature, they will open it. Like you say that, okay, you are my friend, so can I be your friend on Instagram? They'll say no. My generation, anybody sends me an invitation, I'll feel happy. अरे यार मेरे को invitation भेजा है, मैं accept कर लेता हूँ. They may refuse to accept, right? Because they have very clear mindset who can be my friend, who cannot be my friend. And earlier it was all hidden. Now it is open. You are openly sending somebody an invitation on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. Even within your company, if you have groups or these platforms, you have defined your own boundary. Okay, I belong to this group, or I want to try out this group, but I have all the chances that I'll come out after 1 or 2 days of experience. So these behaviors are going to define that what kind of leadership. So if you're looking at 2, 3 clear characteristics, they need transparency, but they need privacy, right? So earlier, transparency was not there, only privacy was there. Then gradually, privacy with started permitting some kind of transparency. They are moving in a very different direction. Okay, I am transparent, but I am whatever I am talking, हेडफोन लगा के बात कर रहा हूँ मैं. ठीक है, आप नहीं सुन सकते. So that is the way the entire generation is moving, and clearly their expectation is that I need to move to the leadership because of my quality, not because of my age or my experience. I want to lead a team because I feel that I can drive this outcome which the company is looking for. So, like uh, my colleague said that it has to be outcome based. So, entire leadership definition will be who can lead to the better outcome, who can lead with better transparency, who can lead with higher level of integrity and privacy. That's the way we are moving and in that particular direction.
Okay. So thank you for a very elaborated answer, and it actually gives a lot of concepts and the fundamental to think about, right? If I have to conclude, what we hear is that the Gen Z's leadership style or the future leaders may be a so they will be collaborative because they are a friendly but not all the time friend of any other person. They are socially conscious, right? So that is number
And
two. They are absolutely tech savvy because they are the tech native, AI native, all of them. So they are into born into that era. So they are tech native. All of them actually makes them little. So these are the reasons which makes them the leadership ready little earlier compared to what we have seen so far. That is number one. One more point, and rather a perspective which I look forward. Leadership is actually a very broad base, wherein decision making and say resilience and maybe a vision, a far-sightedness, all of that is also a part of your leadership, how you drive. Do you have any point or a perspective to share with the group that how do they need support in developing all of this skill, or you think it's something you have observed, like they come with that probably either of them, like decision making or a say resilience, all of that.
See, very good question. And if you look at it, not only within a defined boundary of an organization, if you look outside also, you will find that most of the new ideas, new visions are coming from youngsters, right? And why they are coming? Because they belong to a generation who can identify what is going to come in future, right? And definitely they are very well informed, and their decision is very qualified with lots of information which they have reached to. At our age, we didn't have that much of information. So if I want to start a business, or if I am leading a sales team and we want to start a new geography, earlier, if I talk about 20 years back, I'll take 6 months to do the research whether I should go with my product in that particular geography or not. Today, you can do it in 2, 3 days. Like you can do some research and quickly do. So that is their advantage. And with that, they are in a better position to visualize, envision, and do. At the same time, I think you also asked what kind of support system we can create so that they can make better decisions. Definitely, a lot of data which is meaningful will support them in making the decisions. And uh, of course, please understand one thing. When we were when we started, we used to expect always that company will train me on a particular thing. It is as a part of the training calendar or a training plan that you people will be trained. Today, they don't wait. If a company is not thinking of training you, they'll go get that skill from somewhere. They'll buy that skill. They'll enroll themselves, buy that skill, come back to the company saying that I have got reskilled into this and I think I can utilize it here for the growth of the company. If the company is not showing lots of positive vibes with his new acquired skill, he may opt out. He may go and utilize that skill somewhere else. So that is where we need to create that support system. Because earlier, I recall around 15, 20 years back, once I told that, sir, I have created this training calendar for these engineers. My boss said, these skills who told? I said, these engineers want to learn these skills, but the company does not require these skills. So drop them, right? Today you cannot afford. It's a company does not require because you are thinking from your current perspective. What is my customer is looking for today? They are looking from the future perspective. That if I acquire this skill, I'll have uniqueness, I'll have an edge over others. And if the company understand that I have people who have created an edge over others, then I can grow faster than them. Then it's a very good correlation which can productively work for everyone.
Great,
Answers
great,
your
thank you.
question?
Yes, yes, to a great level.
Yeah.
Having said that, I also am very curious to understand the similar point of view
Mm.
on say building or making say this generation future ready, right? So
Mm.
if say Dr. Brilliant, if you have any point or any observation, or based on your experience, if you want to add any point for all of us to learn, that would be great.
Thanks, Kushbu, and thanks, Sandeep, for that. In fact, I was also reading some of the chats that came up, and few things I want to pick up because that's probably a misconception that this generation wants quick fixes. I would say it's not about quick fixes, but faster solutions which last for long. Quick
Mm.
fixes are like band-aid, right? The more you apply band-aid, it will peel off and then the wound will be exposed multiple times. So I think somewhere in the process of this journey of classifying and stereotyping people as Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Y, what we are forgetting about is the big picture. What are the core things that we want to focus on? One is flexibility, and second is the focus on outcomes rather than the time that is being spent. And I loved what both Harini and Sandeep mentioned, and I think I have created a quote out of this is we all live in a world of privilege. Recognizing it is the first step towards equity. We are not talking about equality. Please remember, yes, there is a privileged generation Z and there is a generation Z which doesn't have those privileges. What is important is as an organization that is focused on people, we need to identify one size fits all will not work.
Yep.
Today, it will be a surprise. I'm sure we have all seen this, right? And heard this multiple times. WhatsApp is not a formal mode for communication. Every communication should be on email or MS Teams or this, blah, 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 blah. It's been hammered into us. But reach out to the digital native generation Z today, and you will get a faster response on Instagram. They may
Yeah.
not even check WhatsApp. And it's hand to heart answer. I have not checked my SMSs unless there is an OTP that comes. And then you realize, oh, there are 300 SMSs which have come to you. So it's moved on. And today it's not about hair color. And it reminds me of an anecdote when Sandeep mentioned about white hair. I think as a generation, we all value experience. So I would use that as a metaphor to say, while yes, they may have inborn abilities, they may be ready for leadership, but the key key thing to remember is experience is what will help you. And that's where we will come in to make sure that we help them become leadership ready or leader ready. Today, you walk in anywhere, you can give any titles. But when they start interacting with people, you cannot just brush off, right? If it were left to generations that we belong to, we would have probably not entertained the other generation saying ये हमारे mindset से तो wavelength match ही नहीं होता है. So I want to bring an academic perspective here so that you get the reference. Today, the earliest a person can get a PhD is 5 years, right? But think about how generations thought process, life itself is changing. 1st November 2023, ChatGPT came and disrupted everyone's life. And everyone said, अब तो बस ये हो गया, खत्म हो गया, jobs गए, ये गए. 20th Jan 2025, DeepSeek came in, ChatGPT का job चला गया. Now it's no longer years, it's months, and it will be not far when things will change in a friction, in a fraction of a second. We cannot use a blanket brush and say कि ऐसा सारे घर के ऐसे बदल दूंगा. So we need to look at the generation from three work, and I would call it as MPV, just like an SUV. It's an MPV, multi-purpose vehicle. One is they are multi-skilled. Unlike many of us in the past, we wanted to become specialists. There are these generations who are multi-skilled and they come with that kind of experience. The P is they are purpose driven, which means if you show them the purpose, they will make sure that it gets done. And they will not think about money, they will not think about time, they will make sure it gets delivered. And the last part about the V is they are versatile, whether we like it or not, right? They are 10 steps ahead of what we can even think. They will instantly come up with something. And that's what is the beauty we need to work with and start curating a kind of an ecosystem which not only enables them to be a part of it, but also helps them work on collaboration, co-creation, and in the end, celebrating. Over to
Yeah, great. I get that, and I totally second that opinion. So what you are trying to say is that because of the tech savvy thing, or because of the nature or the era in where they were born, I think data backed decision, which we used to, took that in a years or probably after a lot of efforts. I think they get it very instantly
you.
using technology. Number one, they may or may not need to develop the resilience what we were born, because they may not face that challenge, or they perceive challenge in a different way.
Differently.
Exactly. So challenge will remain, but challenge, the point of view to challenge will be changed. So that is number one. So they may or may not come as a part of, the leadership thing, when they are thinking of, becoming leadership. And decision making actually comes, I think it is inborn, because when they are coming up in that era, or when somebody is deciding at the early age that I want to become purpose driven, I think that decision making is there, instilled in somewhere in that. What I hear as a message for us as a people champion or as an industry leader is, we have to accept, we do not have to say box them. Number one, we have to give them the platform where we can leverage, and that is how they become future ready, if I have, if I can
Yes,
summarize a
absolutely.
little better.
Absolutely. In fact, a metaphor would be that they are already Abhimanyus. It's only our responsibility to make sure they don't get caught in the Chakravyuh.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Makes total sense. And it's a great perspective. I definitely value that. Okay, I guess we still have 15 minutes. Okay, and when we come to the closing of the event, or if we have to summarize, okay, and I would look forward for Miss Harini to give us the crux, or if suppose they have any closing notes or any key takeaways for the group about about anything which they feel valuable. Please feel free to share.
Sure, thank you. I don't think I have anything new to add because Dr. Sandeep and Brilliant have, excellently covered so many important points. If I have to just summarize, maybe I will just say that to support Gen Zs in leadership, we just need to give them a direction and a sense of purpose. Because already access to technology and everything else, they are already up in their game. So perhaps just giving them an equitable workplace and solution will get them to do better or aligned with the organization's purpose. And a free will in terms of the whole structure, and to be able to have independent autonomy, at the same time just overseeing that they have a path to chase, is something that we as leaders can do, is what I can take away. Thank you.
Great, great. Anybody, Mr. Sandeep or Mr. Brilliant, anyone has to, provide a closing notes or summarize this session. Over to you, Mr.
Sorry.
Sandeep.
So, yeah. So, you know what? Again, I'll start from where I started. So, for me, every generation is a generation. So, I'll give you three examples. When Shivanatha started HCL, he was a Gen Z for that time. He was working in a company where he was not feeling liberated. He could have done the same thing in his own company, but he came out with some of his friends and he started HCL because he felt that I need more space. I need to be my own boss. And that's how he started. So that was the time when very few examples were there like that. Today, there's so many, the infrastructure is so very developed, the financial infrastructure, the entire overall environment to start a new business is so well structured that there are so many like them who are ready to do something on their own. So if you want to engage with these people, if you want to take care of them, so I'll use the word care in a very different perspective, then you need to create that environment within your organization that the person feels that whatever I am capable of, I am totally allowed to do anything possible in that particular skill set. That's the way, if you take care of them, then they will stay with you. Otherwise, either they'll start their own company or they will be, and they will become your competition, or they can go and join your competition. So that is one. I will end with this word called CARE, care. So for this particular generation, the word care means you stay connected with them, right? But don't try to control them. Okay. So C stands for that. Stay connected with them, but don't try to control each and every of their behavior unless it is going as an outlier. Always look for their advancement because they are looking for their advancement. So that is what A stands for them. If you are taking care of their A, and which in turn is also taking care of your own advancement, then you are taking care of them. You keep on recognizing them, recreating with them, and they feel energized and they'll continue to work with you, right? And like everybody is talking about, they need to have a purpose. Where from that purpose is coming? That purpose is coming because they feel that there is some larger energy outside which they need to connect, right? Like somebody said that कार्बन फुटप्रिंट के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं कि मेरे कार्बन फुटप्रिंट बता दो. Somebody has his own drive to. So if you are taking care of them, then they will take care of you. That CARE is to be very clearly understood. If you don't take care of them, they'll not take care of you. Like if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a management, if you are feeling that they are here to produce and I am here to enjoy the outcome of his production or her production, that is one way of expectation. So their expectation, it needs to match with your expectation. Then only it will create a very good synergy, which will work wonders for everybody. I think that's what is my closing remark.
Hmm, hmm. That's great. All right. So we are quite close to the say end of this interesting seminar. On that note, if I have to conclude and if I have to summarize and if I have to send a message as one of the contributor into the industry and the workplace, what I can say. Number one, Gen Z is like any other generation before them, right? So they are not any different. What we see new, any generation cannot exist in isolation. So yeah, we are transforming, but what we can say, we are transforming little faster along with Gen Z. That is number two. Okay, so what they do or what they are, so number one, we are acknowledging that they are bringing new energy, expectation and values to the workplace. Okay, what truly matters for us to know is, you know how do we bridge the perspective, how do we bring that balance, right? Without boxing them not only Gen Z or not only focusing on that, but with all the say generations including millennials, Gen X and alpha. What we see, it's about designing a workplace. That's on us, right? How do we design a workplace that is inclusive, adaptable, future ready, tech savvy, everything what we call it, right? So that's what is key takeaway from my end. That's what I feel, that it is on us. How do we utilize and leverage what they are being, they call it as a privilege, what they are privileged with. So that's what I have to say. I think that was a very fruitful conversation in my opinion. Again, I apologize for the last minute technology thing. Maybe I'm not too Gen Z. Faisal, over to you. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for attending and yeah, be a part of it. Thank you, speakers, very much.
Thank you, Kushbu. Your guidance brought both energy and depth to the discussion, stirring it with great clarity and focus. Grateful appreciation to Dr. Brilliant, Sandeep, and Harini for sharing their insightful perspectives and thoughtful contributions. Your time and effort made this session truly impactful. Looking forward to many more enriching and engaging conversations ahead. For those eager to revisit today's insights, the session recording is available on our YouTube link shared in the chat window. A special thanks to our event partners, Geisha, NASCOM COE, Calgro, TLE, WICCI, LinkedIn Local Ahmedabad and India for their invaluable support in making this event a success. To learn more about these associations, please refer to the links provided in the chat. We look forward to welcoming you to our next session on the topic Mental Health in the Workplace, Creating a Supportive Environment on May 1st, 2025. With that, we conclude today's webinar. Thank you for being part of this journey. Wishing you good health, positivity, and success until we meet again. Take care and farewell for now. Thank you, Dr.
Thanks,
Brillian. Thank you,
Basil.
Aurelian.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Sandeep.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you,
So much.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.